Bitcoin has broken out to the upside. Exactly as expected, Bitcoin has now started its breakout to the upside. We're currently sitting at nearly $74,000, having already hit $75,000. Soon, it'll likely head up here towards $79,000. But that's not the range where I'll be happy to load up my portfolio with more Bitcoin. On the contrary, up here is where I'll most likely sell off all my Bitcoin in a big way. Why that is, you'll find out exactly in today's video. I'd say we waste no time and jump right into it. And with that, hello and a warm welcome to a new video here on my channel. Glad you've tuned in again. I'm checking in today with a very important crypto market update. The market has broken out to the upside exactly as expected. But since we obviously don't want to rest on past results, let's take a look at what's going to happen next. First of all, we predicted the pump upwards right here at this point, traded it long, then predicted the dump downwards, shorted that in turn, and then predicted this pump upwards again. That means we've capitalized on every conceivable market situation. You can see that in the trades, of course, where the realized profits are already quite extreme. Over $2,000 in realized profits taken here. And now, friends, nearly $3,000 still in unrealized profit. And if my analysis is spot on, I'll make about $5,000 from these small trades alone. And that, friends, with a position margin of under $100. By the way, there's a video coming tonight at 6 p.m. where I'll explain exactly how I managed to earn over $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 with a combined position margin of under $100 for all three positions, and do it completely risk-free if you apply this strategy correctly. But first, I'd say let's take a quick look at the last video. I want to show you a 10-second sequence here that is incredibly important. But before we do that, feel free to scroll down, hit that like button, and give this video a thumbs up. On yesterday's video, we managed to get over 600 likes. I was really happy about that. So thank you very much for that. And also feel free to leave a quick comment for the algorithm. It really supports me because so many people commented yesterday. This market update has already reached over 4,500 views after 22 hours. Thank you very much for that. I'd say let's take a look at what I said in yesterday's market update. It's just a 10-second sequence. From now on, I am leaning more towards a downward move, with the market likely dipping just a bit further before eventually breaking out, probably around midnight German time tonight. And I expect tomorrow, or rather Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, to be very bullish days. In yesterday's video, we were right at this spot, and we predicted, as you just saw in the clip, that the market would likely dip first before exploding on Sunday night or Monday. And that's exactly what happened. And a big congratulations to everyone who follows my market updates here regularly. As I said, definitely remember to give this a thumbs up. That would really support me, and the market did exactly what we expected here, and we've even made a higher high in the meantime, or rather, we've grabbed liquidity here first, which is already worth a lot. However, the market could naturally correct a bit now. That's also realistic. It's happened that we're correcting a bit here because we just grabbed the liquidity, and now we'll likely consolidate until the market opening and then tend to continue higher after that. What's important is that we also have an open CME gap, but I'd like to briefly put it into the broader context. As I said, I didn't just pull this forecast out of thin air. I worked on it for a long time to come up with such a prediction, and I issued this forecast down here saying we'd have a second fake out. How did I come to that conclusion? One reason I came to that is because it was already like that during the last downward phase where we had two fake outs here. And importantly, during these fake outs, we always tested the 200 EMA on the 12-hour time frame here and were bearishly rejected there. That means here too, I believe it's heading towards the 200 EMA located on the 12-hour chart. As of right now, that's at $79,600. The longer we take for the move up, the lower the high will likely be. Although we probably won't test the 200 EMA exactly, but rather go a bit over it. That means $80,000 or so is also realistic. So please don't pin me down to $79,000 exactly, whether the local top here will be 79, 80, 81, 82, or 78. Yes, but personally I'm saying as of now, and due to wars and the geopolitical situation, things like that can change. That's why you should please take 10 minutes every day to watch my market update or join the streams every day, like today at 2 p.m, so you stay up to date. Yes, it could of course also be that we break through completely here or don't even reach this price target and go down beforehand. Yes, so please always stay up to date, friends. But I'm saying fundamentally, in this range up here, it definitely makes sense to probably offload some parts of your portfolio. That's also what I'm going to do. If it continues to develop as it is now, I'll definitely offload some parts of my portfolio up here to be able to buy back cheaper further down. Because if it happens as I'm imagining right now, then we should probably see another price dump in Bitcoin in the coming weeks down to the $48,000 mark. The whole thing will then likely be due to the geopolitical situation as well. We have a war US, Israel against Iran, where many other countries are being pulled in. Maybe even more will be pulled in. You don't know what's going to happen. That means it remains exciting. Unfortunately, the probability of the forecast coming true is higher. So I'm saying that the scenario here is about 60 to 65%. Normally, I can commit to about 75 to 80% that something like this will happen. But since the geopolitical situation is currently quite hard to grasp and interpret for the market, the probability is still higher that we'll hit $48,000 than reaching $100,000 right now, but it's still riskier than usual, right? So naturally, I'll sell part of my portfolio up here and then buy back in at a lower price down there. But I have two portfolios. I have one spot trading portfolio that I use to trade the ups and downs a bit, but I also have a portfolio on a cold wallet. I'll never touch that one, even if Bitcoin drops to $5,000. I'll only sell that when Bitcoin is over $1 million. So please, for those of you using my analyses for your work, you've already made some great trading profits. But what's really important is, please don't take everything as gospel. You don't have to sell all your Bitcoins here, because keep in mind, you'd be selling your Bitcoins up here at $80,000. Yeah, I'm only selling there because I personally expect Bitcoin to go to $48,000, and that's my own risk. If you see it similarly that this could happen, you can of course make your own decision however you like, but please don't take everything here as gospel. Basically, Bitcoin, as just explained, we've just freshly tapped into the liquidity here. Bitcoin will likely drop a bit first, consolidate sideways or even upwards, or make small tops, forming a bearish divergence until we consolidate down here. But I don't think it'll just keep rising in one straight line until the market opens. I'll be live for that again today, of course. Ethereum is at $2,100. That's not right. We need to update that. Exactly. Then we'll have the current figures here too. Ethereum has already shot past the price here. So I'll redo this analysis, as I'd rather use the 200 EMA, currently around $2,500, which is the top for Ethereum in my view. I'd say Ethereum at $2,450 is actually a pretty good price to then sell off. Not to mention, I'm only selling up there because I already bought in down here. So the Ethereums I bought during the crash at under $2,000, I'll sell off up here again with a nice profit. Also, the Bitcoins that I bought relatively low now. Followers of my streams know I bought many Bitcoins down here and have long expected us to test the $60,000 mark. And that's why I'll naturally be able to sell my Bitcoins for more up here at $80,000. Personally though, I wouldn't sell my Bitcoins up there if I had bought them at a much higher price. If you bought Bitcoins at $100,000, I personally wouldn't sell at a loss there just to potentially buy back in cheaper later. For me, I bought down here, sell up here at a profit, and if the market drops, I can use that profit to buy more Bitcoins. If the market goes up, I don't really care either because I've made a profit. Well, I do care a bit because I could have potentially made more profit, but at the end of the day, I have a net profit. If you're selling at a loss now, of course, I definitely wouldn't do that personally. If we look at the oil price, the current situation is that we're just below $100 here. That's going to be a psychological level, but I'm pretty sure that we'll have broken through it to the upside by the end of the week, definitely. Unless the Strait of Hormuz isn't opened early, or if nothing else happens there ahead of time. Oil is currently very heavily dependent on the current geopolitical situation. So please keep that in mind. A pure chart analysis for oil isn't going to help, right? And it doesn't make sense either. That's why I didn't do a chart analysis except for drawing this gap here, which only occurred because of the outbreak of the conflict here. And here, quite honestly, it just depends on the news right now. In the weeks before, you could do great chart analysis, but now it makes absolutely no sense here. Purely from a chart perspective, if you take a look, a downward formation is forming here, a downward movement from this uptrend, tending more towards a downward move to fill the gap. That would be the chart analysis for the people who want to see that. But what's also very important with Bitcoin, please don't forget this. We have a CME gap down here. That means the market is actually destined to head back down here once more. In recent months, however, we've also seen more often that CME gaps haven't been filled all that regularly. Please don't forget that. Despite everything, CME gaps are filled with a very high probability. What happened in the past isn't that important for the future right now. And having a CME gap here doesn't mean Bitcoin has to go down immediately, but it means Bitcoin will likely revisit this level. However, it's also quite possible that Bitcoin first goes up towards $79,000 and then closes this CME gap from above. And that would also perfectly align with my forecast here that the market goes up here and then just slowly crashes down, or rather, what I mean by slowly crashes down. In terms of timing, I'd say we're a bit behind with the forecast. Yeah, I'd say tomorrow or the day after we could hit the top. Yeah, then we'd actually still be well on track. Let's say a crash could then be over, or the bottom could be in. If the crash comes probably around mid-April. So a month from today, it could well be that we see the bottom. In any case, I'll be taking a lot of profits up here. I have several long positions open, which I would close completely up there, so I'd shut them all down, and then accordingly below $60,000, I'd start building more swing positions. At some point, you have to have had enough. You shouldn't push everything to the limit. I have super profits here. I still have several $1,000s open here. I have nearly $3,000 here that are still unrealized. That means if I close the trades, I could take another $3,000 right away. I've already taken over $2,000 here. I've made super crazy profits here over the last few days anyway, if you take a look at this, friends. And we did all those trades live on the stream. Yeah, aside from the profits we already have, we've also taken quite a bit of cash here. Yeah, so several $100s. We're probably in March now. If I were to close these positions now, we'd be nearly $10,000 in profit. And friends, please, that's with such small stakes. A video tutorial on how to achieve such profits despite such small stakes, yeah, will be coming online tonight at 6 p.m. German time. For you, it's almost more important than the thumbs up to scroll down a little bit. There you'll find the registration link for LEVEX as the first link in the video description. If you click on this link, you'll get exactly to this page right here. This is the sign up page for LEVEX. If you refresh this page, you'll also see that there's something new here now. Namely, for everyone who signs up at LEVEX via my affiliate link, they don't just get a deposit bonus of up to $1,200 or $600 for a 3K deposit. If you deposit 10K, you get a $1,200 bonus plus fee savings of around 20%, making you cheaper than BitJet, Bitunix, Bybit, and all other exchanges, or most others that come to mind. But from now on, you'll also receive my exclusive trading signals, simply by signing up with me through LEVEX. The whole thing costs nothing. Yeah, that means you just enter your email here, password, confirm your email, and then you'll immediately receive my trading signals. Let me show you, for example, the last trading signal that I gave. I know it's been a little while. Yeah, 8 days ago. I'll try my best to provide a few more signals then, but some signals also come during the stream. But it's important to me not to bombard you with signals, but to provide truly qualitative, high-value signals that actually bring the desired profit in the best case, and not just anything just to deliver something, because quality is more important to me than quantity. I think we're on the same page there. And that was this one here, the last signal, a Bitcoin long. And friends, please hold on now. Since when have I been predicting long? The market was at $67,300. Yeah, that was the entry range. And I didn't just post this trade, I also took it myself. And this right here was the entry for this trade, $67,500. I entered right in the middle, shared this trade with you, and with this trade alone, I made some really crazy profits here. If I were to close it completely now, it would be $400. My position margin, meaning my own capital, is $5.42. So absolutely incredible, my dear friends. That definitely paid off. I'd say feel free to leave me a comment for the algorithm if you like my market updates. Feel free to hit the thumbs up. Thank you very much. We'll meet today at 2 p.m. in the stream, video at 6 p.m. today. See you then, and bye.